Before we dive in, a quick shout out to the community that makes this possible. This show is brought to you by the You Run Podcast Network, a space where everyone is heard, loved and welcomed. To support the creators and find your next favourite show, please visit yourunpodcast.com.
You want to die tonight?
Late at night, I tune into your show, where you talk horror with a unique flow. Your voice is like sirens, draws me in, as you pick apart movies on murder and sin. Scott and Mark set the scene. I hang on every word lost in the screen. Your passion for fear is contagious enough. You make me believe in Mark's fucking long roundups. You run podcast, horror movie review, sharing facts and playing games too. Your words paint pictures of darkness and dread, leaving me grinning long after you fled. You run podcast. You run podcast.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, I'm licking it.
Hello, and welcome to the You Run Podcast Horror Movie Review. My name is Scott,
My name is Mark.
and we are your hosts every single Tuesday as we bring you movie reviews of the movies you actually chose to be reviewed. If you want to pick a movie to be reviewed, go to our Instagram page at You Run Podcast, where you can vote on, the movies that we cover each week. If you have never listened before, this is an interactive show. So there are interactive features like 3-word review. We also have games that you can play along with at home. You can leave us voicemails. You can get in touch with us in a ton of different ways, which we'll talk about later. The way the episode works is we're going to give you our review of the movie and our score. And we're going to keep that relatively spoiler-free. And then we're going to dive into a full deep dive into the movie, what we liked, what we didn't. We don't do a play-by-play. And then in this scene, this happened. And then in this scene, this happened. And this one time at band camp, a bear came. We don't do any of that, but we do talk about all the good parts of the movie and the bad bits as well. Today, I'm really excited as we are dealing with a movie that we keep doing movies that I'm amazed it's taken 5 years to get this on the show.
I am, to be honest with you. This is one of the ones that comes up in the list of big hitters that you usually tick off pretty early in the podcasting years. Yeah,
and we're 5 years in, and we've only just reached Re-Animator from 1985. This movie, I'm going to start by saying this film is out there. And when I say it's out there, like it's H.P. Lovecraft, it's really fucking out there.
Yeah.
We followed Dr. Herbert West as he tries and fails to reanimate dead tissue. This includes cats, people, severed heads, and a whole host of other things. Like all good mad scientists, he needs an assistant, and this is where his roommate Dan comes into play. As with all films of this era, it's not complete without a damsel in distress, and the damsel in distress has to be in a state of complete undress, which happens in this movie with a character called Megan. And it's played by the 80s icon, sex symbol, sheer goddess, Barbara Crampton. This film's a lot of fun. It's silly, it's wacky, and while it's got moments that are genuinely distressing and gross, it's got such a fun undertone to it. Effects look good. Like, I wouldn't say they look incredible now, but they still look good. There are a couple of dull moments. I'm going to go over them when we get to them, but I'll be honest, they kind of add to the charm of this movie. The effects not being up to what they probably should be now, and the bits where it has lulls just amplify the bits where it's fucking full on. The film takes inspiration from things like Frankenstein, original Universal monster movies, and it kind of gives it a modern twist. It's been incredibly inspirational in other films. Like, other films have copied this premise and done it again and again and again. The latest example is The Substance that we covered a couple of weeks ago. I like this film a lot. I think it's a load of fun. I don't like Herbert West's character. I know he's horror royalty. I think he's the worst part of the film. Dan is ridiculous, and
Yeah.
Dan needs a slap. I understand why this film is absolutely praised by everybody. Everybody loves this. I've got no nostalgic attachment to it though, and I saw it the first time in my mid-30s, and this is probably my third watch of this film. I've not seen it a lot. I kind of hate to do it, but on a rewatch, like, this isn't perfect. It's a 4 out of 5.
I think that's a fair score for a movie like this. And I think the issue that I always find with the Re-Animator is, as a first time watch, this movie's brilliant because it dives into a real air of mystery surrounding Herbert West. You don't
Yeah.
really know the type of person he is and what the hell is going to go on with his character. And they do a good way of setting that up very early on with the very mysterious aspect of who he is and why he's here. And the incident in the opening credits with him in Sweden, I think it's Sweden or Scandinavia, I can't remember where he comes from.
Yeah.
And then what leads on to that going forward. It's very Frankenstein-esque, but they do a good job of making it their own. I'm just going to turn the brightness down on my screen ever so slightly because that background is so offensive. It's hurting my eyes. But one thing I really do like about this movie is the practical effects work. It's fantastic, and it still holds up incredibly well today, in my opinion. It does suffer, like you say, from those moments of lulling. Sort of like a third of the way through the movie, there's a lot of exposition-heavy stuff that probably doesn't need to be there, and a lot of diving off into subplots that, again, they are relevant to the plot and they do have a payoff later on in the movie. But because this movie is such an iconic film within the horror community, that you often find when you go back and rewatch it, you're really only there for the last third of the movie. And that's things that I noticed the most this time when I watched it was, yeah, this is just very by the numbers stuff that I've seen countless times, because I have seen this movie countless times, but I noticed the drag on it this time purely because I was having to pay attention. It's one of those movies I put on quite a lot, but it's only ever on in the background. I'll never sit down and focus my attention to the Re-Animator. Obviously, I did the first few times I watched it when I was younger, but nowadays, whenever I fancy watching it, it's on and it's there, and I'm scrolling on my phone or I'm doing work and it's on in the background. And it's not until like the last 20 minutes where it really holds my attention till the closing credits. But that's not to downscore this movie for those reasons, because that's maybe a me issue. You know, I still think that if this was watched by somebody who had never seen it before, I think it holds up well better than most of this era. And I think as a first time watch for somebody, they would be really impressed by the way that this movie plays out, the mystique surrounding West's character, the practical effects that come with it, and the way that the pacing is quite consistent throughout. And then it just goes full balls to the walls at the end. I'm going to stick with you, and I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. If you'd have asked me 5-6 years ago, this probably would have got top marks. But again, I score out of enjoyment, and I would be lying to you all to give this a 5 out of 5 because I don't enjoy the first third and a half of this movie like I used to when I was younger.
Yeah, I think there's big sways of this that I do enjoy. There are some bits early on that I think are great. There are some bits midpoint that I think are amazing. The closing parts of this movie are just off the wall insane. And you can't, it's one of those, like the closing scenes of this, like when you get down in that morgue, those closing scenes, it's so good you can't not watch it. You can't take your eyes off because something's happening everywhere. But yeah, there's lots of bits
but there's
where
like key points in it where you can just really pinpoint. It's like opening credit, cat kill, then you've got the morgue, the first morgue scene. No. Before that, you've got the creepy interaction with Megan and the doctor, who is a true pervert at the dinner table.
Also, you've got Herbert West giving the doctor shit in his class is one of the best bits of this movie.
Again, like there is a lot of that early on, but they're very much snippets. You know what I mean? You can, again, this is what I'm saying. It's a perfect background movie because there's lulls in between. You know that scene's coming up, so you'll flick in for a couple of minutes and then you'll go back to doing what you were doing, and then you're like, this scene's coming up, and you'll go in for that. But yeah, the stuff in between, it's not heavy on the lore building of the fluid itself, you know. And I think maybe if that had been interjected a little bit more within this movie, you might have found yourself paying a little bit more attention early on. But I don't know. I don't want to criticize this movie at all because it is a classic and it does deserve respect. But it's just, for me, for somebody who's seen it countless times, it's very difficult to glorify the early moments in this movie when, for me, it's just so, there's movies like Shaun of the Dead that I've seen just as much as I have probably seen Re-Animator, but I would still say that every single scene in that movie is pitch perfect throughout. There's not a moment in that film where I ever feel the need to pick my phone up and look away, but I do often find myself doing this when I watch Re-Animator.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. Let's take a quick break and then let's give this the full, let's give it the full treatment, shall we? I thought you were going to say something. I was waiting.
Oh no, I was just comforting.
Okay, right. Well, let's play an ad.
Yo, grab a cold one, kick back and turn it up loud. The 3-class clowns are back to draw a crowd. From the honking legends to the stories in the dust. Crack a window, settle in. In crust we trust, it's the news that's weird and the takes that are wrong. The unintelligent broadcasts you wanted all along. Don't toss the leftovers, don't leave a single scrap. It's the Krusty Boys anthem, now put it on the map.
Turn the dial back, let the memories play. From the blockbuster hits to the VHS graves. Pop culture reflections, a journey in time where the 80s and 90s are still in their prime. With Justin at the mic, we're diving deep into horror flicks and the secrets they keep. From the ring to the charts, every legend and star reflect on the icons of who we all are. That's who we all are.
So head over to yourunpodcast.com where you'll get links to all of the shows of the You Run Podcast Network. In fact, they're not even links. They're actually on the website. You can play all of the shows, all of the episodes straight through our site. You can also find links to our socials there. We're at You Run Podcast everywhere. If you really want to get involved in the show, go to Instagram. If you want to argue like mad with me about movies, go to TikTok. If you want to see me post memes, pick an account. Like pick an account anywhere because I do that a lot. If you want to get completely rage baited, go to X or Threads or Blue Sky because I do a lot of things like going, yeah, Scream, the original's probably just on a par with Scream 4 and then just let the shit fall where it may. Like it's fun. But yeah, make sure you follow us.
Not because sometimes I see you do shit and I'm like, I fucking hate this dude.
Also, make sure you click on the Patreon link because that will take you to our Patreon where you get additional episodes. You get early release of this show. So this show comes out last Thursday. You'd have had this instead of on Tuesday. It's almost a full week before. You get early releases of True Crime, early releases of Voices with the You Run podcast. You get an additional show, the You Run Extra show, where me and Mark talk shit about all sorts of weird and wonderful things. You get True Crime Extra, where me and Heather go on massive tangents, and you get exclusive episodes, you get early release YouTube. Like there's an absolute ton of stuff on there, and it costs less than a cup of coffee a month.
Has Heather picked the topic for this month yet?
She hasn't, and you have not picked the topic for us on True Crime either. So
I forgot I was doing that. No, I did. I said on the thingy.
Yeah, you said it's the dildo one, but that
it's Ray Parker Jr. I think he's called.
Right. Okay. Well, we'll talk about it in the group chat. Also, make sure you go and go and give us a review, 5 stars on Apple or Spotify, like, comment, do all the good things wherever you can and help support us. And that is the sales pitch for this episode. I want to start by saying that H.P. Lovecraft hates Re-Animator, not the film, the series that he wrote, the series of short stories. H.P. Lovecraft doesn't like them. The only reason he wrote them is because he got $5 per installment that was sold.
That doesn't sound like a lot of money.
No, that's every single book that's sold. He got $5.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
And it's a series of books. So I think there's 6 or 7. So 6 or 7 books. How many copies of Re-Animator have been sold? He was making boatloads of money.
Right. I'm not very familiar with H.P. Lovecraft in terms of the stories. You know, like I know he's a quirky dude who deals with a lot of cosmic horror, which I love most of the movies that have his name stamped above them. It's a lot of the times why I tend to watch them. I'm like, oh, a H.P. Lovecraft movie, that sounds great. Don't get me wrong, there is a big percentage of them that are dog shit, but more often than not, when you find those ones, are really good. Like The Color of Space with Nick Cage recently, that was fucking epic. And I love anything like that that deals real heavily with sci-fi horror. But I don't know much in terms of the books or the stories that he's written or anything like. I know I've heard he's like a pretty bad dude, or he's a very racist dude from what I've heard.
I genuinely have no idea. I've got none of his stuff. I'm not a huge fan of his work, novel wise. I've read one or two of his things. I'm not a huge fan of his movies either.
So I am. I like a lot of the stuff that comes out under his name brand, but again, from what I've heard, I think he's a Nazi. I think he might, again, please don't come at me. I might be wrong. This dude might be like a saint, but I have reason to believe he may have been on the island.
And it would make sense because the opening of this movie is very Nazi-like, with the nurse and what looked like the Gestapo stomping down to get into the office. I love this opening. They kick the door open and you've got Dr. Gruber on the floor. His eyes are like bulging out of his head. And Herbert West goes, I got the dosage wrong. I'm like, fuck.
How was he free to walk away from this?
I'm not entirely sure. I don't know if it's because he was American. They just went, do you know what? It's easier to just fucking deport you than it is to deal with you.
Right. I didn't know whether he was American.
Yeah,
I know he obviously is as an actor.
I think
like even the people at the beginning in Sweden and stuff have American accents, so they didn't make a lot of effort to try and make it geographical, if you will.
No, but they kind of ship him off. I've got a cool fact. So the medical school that he goes to, did you recognize the building?
No, and it's going to annoy me now that you're going to say it's something really popular that I've not noticed.
It is the Cyberdyne headquarters from Terminator 2 Judgment
No way.
Yeah.
How did I not pick up on that?
Which I thought was fucking awesome. The university's a bit odd. So I can't work out if Herbert West is actually a doctor or if he's a student or if he's there in like a sort of consultation capacity, but he's being toured around by the dean. And I don't get it. I don't get like how he fits into this. Is he a student or is he not? Because they're parading him around like he's the fucking greatest thing ever.
Yeah, which is weird. Like they're introducing him to all the staff members as if to say, like, this is your co-worker. And then the next thing you know, he's a class member and he's sharing digs with Dan. And I'm like, so are you enrolled or are you working there? I don't quite get the setup for your character here. They obviously parade him around as he's got some sort of importance and he's had some sort of groundbreaking medical sort of discovery in some way. Not a discovery, because that kind of tees it up to say that he's done something of grandeur in his career, but they're parading him around like he's the Harry
best.
Potter on his first day at Hogwarts, if you will.
It really is that kind of vibe. It's like, look, this is Herbert West. He is the chosen one. He will be in your class. It's that kind of vibe. Dan, on the other end of this scale, we meet Dan inappropriately touching a naked woman, like pounding on her chest, trying to give her, like, resuscitate her. He actually injured her doing that.
Did he? Yeah, I mean, he was very full on. He was committed.
He was, and he's like all sweaty and he's like hot and bothered. And the funny thing is, later when he tries to resuscitate his girlfriend, nowhere near that level of effort. Not even close.
I knew when that scene was playing out, it was going to come full circle, though.
Yeah, the woman who he's resuscitating, the actress who played her, is a dildo enthusiast. She's also one of the dead bodies at the end.
How would you even know that?
What she used to do is she used to take the dildos from her collection and hide them on set.
I don't even know what to do with that information. I'll be honest with you.
No, I wasn't sure what to do with it when I found it, but it made me chuckle. So she's just got like a bag of dildos. She's like chucking them in the morgue and like sticking them on the fridge and shit like
I'd love
that.
it if one of them made it to the final cut and only she knew about it as well. It's like, there's a dildo on the side of that cupboard.
Don't, because I'm going to have to go rewatch it now. Like, I like this setup. I don't like Herbert West, and I don't know if I'm supposed to, but I really dislike his character throughout.
I don't think you're supposed to like him, because there's no redeeming arc for him at any point throughout this movie. There's not a turning point as a person, you know what I mean? He's always using everybody around him to his advantage and to his gain, and he's willing to throw them under the bus in any given moment. He's very much presented as Dracula from the off, as this creepy Eastern European dude, which is why I brought up earlier whether he was or wasn't American, and it was just laziness in terms of the actual accents and shooting. He's this pasty white dude from Eastern Europe who comes into America, and he's just creepily hiding around every corner doing really dodgy shit. But again, we mentioned, like, what is his purpose here and who is he? But he's very, very vocal regarding the senior doctor's work, to the point where he's willing to just full-blown interrupt his class to the level of some disruptive child sort of behavior. And I'm like, that wouldn't happen. You know, I don't feel like you would be able to do that.
Do you know how close I come to bringing some pencils in here today and just start snapping them when you started talking?
I'd start twitching and shit. I genuinely would like.
It was the fact his teacher's like, I think maybe, Mr. West, you need to bring a pen to class. But did you see that, like, it's a quick flash cut where they like flash down to the side of him? He's got like a whole fucking holster full of pencils. Like,
yeah,
he's ready to do this all the way through. And he goes outright and just basically goes, all of your work is plagiarized from my mentor, Dr. Gruber. It's so bad, in fact, like, you have literally just copied him. Like, in front of all the other students. I'm like, oh, dude, like, that's not a good way to get in. And even the teacher says, he's like, I'm going to enjoy failing you this year.
But again, this is the reason that it annoyed me with the setup. Is like, this is laziness in terms of writing, because he's here to fly under the radar and hide out in this creepy basement, but he's doing a terrible job of doing so. He's very vocal. He's very much, I am here, and just being very disruptive in general. And it's like, I just feel like if you were trying to do this secret thing that you're trying to do, you maybe just want to blend into the background a little bit.
Yeah.
And again, I feel like should have been more development in terms of the law building regarding the medical side of things that he's accusing this guy of ripping off. You know, and I know you can kind of piece together slightly the direction they're going with it, but I'm just like, but why is he so offended by this? What is it that's offending you for you to be so disruptive about this man's work?
Well,
science isn't about why, it's about why not.
But my point is, like, his Re-Animator serum doesn't necessarily coincide with the work that this other doctor's doing. They're two completely different fields altogether. So I'm like, if he was giving a speech and a study regarding regeneration within humans, and he's like, no, this is bullshit. I know it's bullshit because
it's all about the brain dying, isn't it? He's like, the brain is completely dead in 6 to 12 minutes. And Herbert West is like, I don't think it is. He's like, 6
I
12 minutes. And Herbert West is like, it's just disgrace. You're closing their mind before you even let them open it. And then, like, huffs off. I'm like, dude,
but the doctor was clearly very right. I think this movie proves anything that the doctor was right.
Dr. Hill was definitely, he was right about this. He's wrong about pretty much everything else he does in this movie.
Yeah, I'm not advocating him in any way in this review.
When Herbert West goes to Dan's house for the first time, that is the most uncomfortable shit ever. And you and me as men have been in this situation. Dan's there with his girlfriend. Herbert comes round to look at the apartment, and he is creepy as fuck. And they go down in the basement. He's like, oh, a basement. Like, he's having an orgasm. He's so excited about this basement. It's like, yes, this will be perfect. And he's like, So I will take the room, and his girlfriend's going like shaking,
Yeah.
like openly shaking her head. And
The
you and
most
me,
intelligent person in the room, and I love her throughout this movie because she's the only one asking the questions that all of the audience is thinking. One,
yeah,
why the fuck did you leave Sweden? Two, what the hell are you doing here? And three, why are you just a creepy, weird white dude?
yeah, exactly that. But she's doing what our wives have done to us numerous times, going, no, 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 no. And he's like, the only time you'll know I'm here is on the first of the month. And pulls out a wad of cash, and all that went through my head was, sounds like a good deal to me. I'll be
Yeah.
like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, too.
And even later, when like she comes back round, she's like, oh, I find it really weird with him like here, like. I don't know because I don't know what he's doing. And he's like, yeah, he's the perfect fucking roommate. I never see him and he pays on time.
Yeah.
And she's like, "No, but it's creepy." It's like, no, it's like for a guy, like if I was to have a roommate, that's the roommate I want. I don't see you, I don't hear from you. You just pay me when you need to.
Until he starts killing your cat.
We've said it on the show before. Neither of us are cat people, so I think I'd be all right with it.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, there would never be a cat there in the first place for him to kill, but I mean, it's a red flag, I'll be honest with you.
The cat, when like this is when his girlfriend's back around. She's like, do you know, I just can't. I've not seen Rufus for weeks. Where's Rufus? And this is where they go hunting for the cat because they can like hearing noises, and they find it dead in the fridge.
Yeah.
Herbert West's response when he comes back, he's like, "Why the fuck is the cat in the fridge?" He's like, "Well, it died. It had an accident, and I put it in there because I didn't want it to rot or smell." He's like, "What? And you couldn't have left me a note?" And Herbert West's like, "What would the note say? Cat dead. Details later." And I was like, "Fucking brilliant."
I do like the way that he turns his situation as if to say, like, it is what it is, but you're shagging the dean's daughter. So let's just move on from this situation before we all start spilling beans.
Yeah, let's not make an issue of the fact I blatantly killed your cat.
Yeah.
Also, when you hear the cat screaming later, do not come and investigate in the basement. Um, also, I love the basement scene where he's like, I brought the cat's like, meow, meow. He's like, I brought the cat back. And because when Dan goes down there, it's fucking on Herbert's
Hanging
back.
off his back.
And like he kills it, like he does that whole thing where he throws it against the wall, it's like splat. And he's like, I've reanimated it, Dan. You need to help me. And Dan's like, no, you just cooled it down. It was like taking a nap. It wasn't dead. He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, you just slowed its heart rate.
yeah,
I
he's
was
like,
but it's been in the fridge for a couple of days. I don't think.
but it's when he turns around to Dan and goes, would you agree it's dead now? And this cat's like got its big hole in the middle, like his arms are snapped, its head's hanging out, and he's like, well, yes, clearly it's dead now. And he's like, hold my beer, inject. And the cat comes to life. Like that whole scene of Dan going, shit, okay,
Yeah.
this is cool. I really like this because it's this desire to discover what Herbert knows that attaches Dan to him. Dan still thinks
I would
he's a
be on
fucking
board with
weirdo.
it. Yeah. He would win me over at this point.
What with the cat coming back to life?
Yeah, I'd be like, all right, I'm going to be rich. I'm in.
Their plan to sneak into the morgue, just silly.
I don't know. I mean, it works pretty well. All he did was take his shoes off. I bought it.
Did you notice he had a toe tag on though, and he pulled his sock and his shoe over his toe tag?
No, I didn't notice.
I was like, that would annoy me so much having a toe tag in my sock, in my shoe.
Oh man, even just like the slightest little pebble or something that you've picked up from walking around the house can wind me up for hours.
Yeah, but I looked into why they'd done that because it made no sense to me. So the guy who plays Herbert West, I can never remember his name.
Jeffrey Combs.
Yeah, Jeffrey Combs.
Yeah.
He didn't want to do the scene barefoot because the sets were known for being sticky and a bit disgusting because of all the fake blood. So he convinced the director that he could get his socks and shoes on quick enough without disrupting the scene. And the director went, if you can do it in one take, you can keep your shoes on. Which is why it's like a frantic rush to get his socks back on and get off the thing.
Brilliant. I tell you what I do like in this that we haven't mentioned yet. I do really like the security guard in this movie.
Oh, the one who's just sat there reading like copies of Hustler.
Yeah. He's like Detective Powell from the Die Hard franchise. And I'm not saying that just because he's black, by the way. They're just very similar characters.
Yeah, he's kind of got that. Is it another body? Yeah. He's like, this room's weird. Everyone goes in and no one comes out. I was like, well, yeah, it's a morgue.
Yeah, my favorite one is like, oh, is there a meatball sub under there for me? And he tries to pull the cover back.
Yeah, he's a very odd guy.
Yeah, it's the
And
one, and he's reading the Hustler magazine, and you can clearly see he's about to go for a wank, and he has no shame in hiding it. He's like, toilet break.
yeah, and the thing is, he's constantly on a break. If he'd done his job better, none of this movie would have happened.
No, this is very true.
This is where they animate the first corpse, and I like where they go through and they like, oh no, it's very much Goldilocks and the Three Bears. This one's too burnt. This one's missing too many limbs, but this one is just right.
Well, he's not just right though, is he? That's the problem. He's like, he says he has heart failure, and that's not a good thing to use as a suspect. But he's like, we're out of time. We've got no other option. This is the best we've got in this situation. And Dan's trying to convince him to just leave it and we'll try again another day. But Herbert West's like, no, it's now or never. And just fucking stabs him. And it doesn't work.
But not only that, the guy is fucking ginormous. He is the most jacked guy in the world of all. Like, you're reanimating something that you know is going to be violent. You do not pick the guy who you don't pick the guy who's died of a steroid overdose. That's not who you choose.
No, you don't. You really no, you definitely don't. And it doesn't end well for them. It doesn't end well for them because it doesn't work initially. And you can tell like their dean is coming down to kick off. So he just like triples up on the dosage and pumps him like he's Bane from Batman. And this dude just fucking breaks down walls.
It does. He jumps up. The guy who plays this corpse is Peter Kent, another tie into the Terminator franchise and Jingle All the Way. He's Arnold Schwarzenegger's stunt double.
Yeah, you can see that.
He's his stunt double and also played his body double for the original Terminator movie.
Ah, cool. I can't imagine a world where Arnold Schwarzenegger needs a body double. I'll be honest with you.
No, I think it's probably more just like it's cheaper to have the body double there to do shots like from behind than it is to get Arnie there to do it. There's a cost difference. But yeah, I love this sort of rampage where they're trying to fight him and the dean comes down and catches them. And the dean just gets royally fucked up. Like the bit where he smashes the door down and it's a big steel door and it lands on the dean and he just like walks over, just stomps on it and squashes him. I'm like, oh man, you're in so much
the thing is,
trouble.
for me, I remember the first time watching this movie, I always was like, oh, that's going to be so disappointing if that's how he dies. And that's it. You know, it's just a case of a door falling on him and he's dead. But no, there is a full onslaught. He fucking bites his fingers off. He crushes his skull. It is relentless for this dude. And the whole time, Dan and Herbert are just scrambling together in the corner like, oh, we should probably go now before they finally decide to save him, which is all too little too late, in my opinion.
Yeah, and this is when the security guy comes back in, like still with tissues like in his hand, still drying his fingers, like, what the fuck is going on in here?
Well, no, they've already resuscitated the dean by this point because him and Dan have a conversation. He's like, this is it. Now we have we have the freshest specimen we are ever going to get our hands on. And Dan, in this point, I'm just kind of a little bit taken back by the way that Dan reacts and deals with this situation, because this is technically, in some fashion, his father-in-law. And he shows no single bit of remorse for this in the moment. I mean, he does afterwards, but I put that down more to shock than anything else.
So does Herbert West, because he's like puts his head on his lap and like puts his coat over. It's all right, Dan. You're in shock. Just stay there.
But the whole way, you can see how conniving Herbert is in this instance, where they re-inject him, and he comes back after like 17 seconds. I think they count it as.
Yeah.
And the dude is just tripping balls. You know, he's pretty much what's the creepy dude in the Dracula movies who's in the cell that eats bugs?
Yeah. Oh God, what's his name?
Renfield. He's Renfield at this point. He's headbutting walls and just being a complete lunatic. And Herbert just spins the story to the security guard, and he's like, oh, he just came down here in a rage. He attacked us and he stabbed the dead body, and it was absolute carnage. And you can see Helen is just in tatters by this point. Like, what are you doing? And Dan's just stood there and he does nothing. I'm like, dude, what is your deal? Like, how are you so complicit to this situation that you've just met this weird, creepy European guy and you are not going to defend Helen in any way and be like, this has gone on too far now. This dude is trouble. This is what he's done. I hold my hands up. I was game for a little bit, but this has gone too far.
Yeah, and I kind of would be out as well. Like, I would be like, no, this needs to stop now. But they don't. And I'm glad they don't, because what comes after this, we're now at the point where this goes from being this movie's fucking weird to holy shit. Like, from here on out, everything's like wild. So Dr. Hill treats the dad, the dean.
Yeah, with the lobotomy.
He treats him with a lobotomy, and then he goes on this tirade of he's going to steal Herbert West's work, and like does this like he's down with Herbert West, and he's got his serum, and he's like, he openly says to Herbert West, "I am going to get you expelled. I'm going to steal all of your research, make all of the money, and no one will know your name." And Herbert West just fucking snaps. Shovel to the back of the head, and then decapitates him with a shovel. It's so good.
Yeah, it is really, really impressive. But I think the reason that it's so impactful is because of the arc of what's the doctor called? Is Dr. West, did you say?
Dr. Hill is the
Dr. Hill,
pervy
yeah.
doctor.
Dr. Hill has such an incredible arc throughout the entirety of this movie because early on, when he's challenged by Herbert, you assume that he is the empathetic character that you're going to support and you're going to be behind. But then the more the story goes on, one of the scenes that really highlights it early on is a creepy dinner scene where he makes a weird sort of like toast to Helen. And
the most beautiful girl in the world. He's just a pervy
and
old
how
teacher.
like eternal love and obsession comes from everybody you interact with. I was like, oh, that's creepy. And then it just gets weirder and weirder and weirder to the point that
one of the weirdest bits for me is when her dad, the dean, is in that padded cell. Also, he's got a padded cell with a glass window in his office, which is weird. But he's like there, and he puts his arm around his like, if you need anything, you just come to me. And also,
I can smell you.
Like he's that level of disgusting. He just makes you.
He's an ick, man. He's a proper ick.
Yeah,
and he's really, really weird and creepy and suggestive. And then he comes in and fully does his Bond villain thing to Herbert. And this is where the character of Herbert kind of switches. And I know that I said earlier on he doesn't have any redeeming arcs or qualities, and he doesn't. And it's only due to the fact that Hill is such a despicable character that you start championing West at this point, even though he doesn't deserve it. And he becomes kind of the anti-hero of the story. But yeah, and that's only just due to how despicable Hill is as a character. And he doesn't even get any better in death.
No, he doesn't. So West kills him, then reanimates his head, and he's got his head in the tray, and he's like, what does it feel like? And he's just like, and while he's doing this, you've got the headless torso coming up behind West and just takes West out. And then when West comes to, his serum's gone, Hill's gone, and the severed head is gone. Him getting back through the hospital and having that like mannequin. Did you notice when he goes down to the morgue? Like, it's one of those like
half and half full facial, half skull brain thing. That you have.
So when he goes down to the morgue and you've got the security guy who's about to go for another wank, he keeps the side that's the normal face to the security guard, and when the security guard moves, he kind of adjusts himself. And it's so funny because this head doesn't move like right with the body. It cracks me up every single time.
Yeah, it's really cleverly done at this point. And again, this was the one time where, as cool as the Borg scene was before it, this was where it really starts to showcase the level of creativity involved with the special effects of this movie, especially with Hill coming out through the tin and the table. And I know it's a very basic technique, but even just the prosthetics used to showcase a decapitated head is very realistic and very reminiscent of the actor. And a lot of movies of this time wouldn't have gone to the detail that they do in this movie. And you can see that probably 80% of this film's budget went into making these scenes look as good as they did.
Yeah, I agree. And a lot of the work, especially with this severed, like the torso and the body, it is very simple. So the torso is just a person with an extra bit of torso on the top and a severed head on the top, but it looks great.
Hmm.
And the severed torso is genuinely scary and creepy. And the head, like the bit where he's feeding him the blood, he's in the he's just pouring the blood and he's going, "Oh yeah, blood. Oh yeah, baby, blood." Like even when he's a severed head, he's like, "Oh, you're so fucking creepy." And he
But
sends her.
again, like even just the lore of it all is like how he first starts off where he can't speak, and the longer the movie goes on, the more almost intelligent this dormant head starts to become. And I'm like, this is good, man. This is good. I really love this. You know, you should have opened with killing him and had the entire movie sort of just be a little bit more science based around stuff like this that I would have been more invested in, I think.
Yeah, and this is where Hill sends the dean off to go and kidnap the daughter.
Yep.
I initially thought this was for some sort of experiment. However, it's not, because the dad brings her back. Bear in mind, this is her daughter, puts her on the like slab next to Hill, rips her clothes off, and then put like this then decapitated body, like picks Hill up and like putting it on her body so it could kiss. And he's like the headless body is like groping her boobs. I'm like, this is the most disgusting thing ever.
It's
And
uncomfortable.
yeah, but it's not the most disgusting thing ever, because in 2 seconds' time, this decapitated body picks up the head of Hill and goes to put it in between her legs, and Hill is down there like this.
Oh, you gotta give them that hot tour and spit on that thing. You get me?
Yeah, man, it's fucking rank. I'll be honest with you, it's absolutely disgusting. But I will say this about it: it looks incredible.
Yeah,
Effects magnificent, magnificent. I wouldn't be criticizing any single aspect of this if this was in a modern day movie. I think it's done that well and looks that realistic. With
Yeah.
do you know? I don't even know how they managed to do this and pull it off to such a high standard for the era of when this movie came out. But not only that, but probably the budget that was allowed for this movie when it was made, because this is a very low budget production. I don't even know if this is like is this a full moon?
No, not Full Moon. I don't know who it is, but it's not Full Moon.
Right.
I think it had like roughly $1 million to make this.
Yeah, that doesn't go far when you're making a movie so prosthetic heavy at this time.
Yeah, yeah, but no, they done really well, and also Barbara Crampton completely naked on a table is not a bad thing to look at. I'm not going to lie. And if anyone's got a problem with that, I have a quote from Barbara Crampton. Anything I did as part of this film was part of the story. I never felt like I'd done anything I shouldn't be doing. I liked being naked, and I would continue to be naked even now as a wrinkled old grandmother, but I doubt anyone would like to see that.
We salute you, Barbara Crampton.
We
Thank you for your
genuinely do. Herbert West turns up, and so does Dan, and they kind of break up this really strange severed head giving head moment.
Yeah.
And Herbert West is like, I have a plan. And Hill's like, so do I. And then all the corpses like sit up because he's reanimated them all.
This was awesome.
Yeah, he's given them all lobotomies, and now they're all kind of like weirdly under his mind control.
It's
And
like Imhotep from The Mummy. It's fucking fantastic. I didn't see it going there the first time around.
No, and the best bit about this is we are aware of all of these characters, because when they went to the morgue earlier looking for bodies, they're like, oh no, that's a burnt one. Oh no, that's one that got shot in the face. Oh no, that one's one that's missing an arm. And then when they all come to life, you have the burnt one, the one that's shot in the face, and the one that's missing an arm. I'm like,
he's got an arm off.
He's got an arm off. It's the coolest shit ever. And it's just absolute chaos. This whole scene is just like carnage. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it is. And then the thing is as well, like, it's a movie, regardless of how varied it is in terms of its like ups and downs with its cool scenes and practical effects moments, it's from this point on that it just fucking chucks everything at the wall and hopes it sticks. And it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant, and I just think it's such an achievement for a film like this to achieve what it did with the closing moments of this movie, because everything about it is just so unexpected.
Yeah, it's a really good ending, and the fact that Herbert West doesn't have really a redemption moment, but he does very much say to Dan, "Get her out of here, you go," and he is the one who stays behind, and I assume Herbert West dies. If there wasn't a sequel to this, Herbert West dies here.
He does, and I haven't seen any of the movies after the original, even though I do own all of them. And I was so tempted to put on Bride of the Re-Animator immediately after this, but it was late, and Scrubs is out this week, and it's been the best week of my life for that reason. I love Scrubs. I went back and I watched season 1 a couple of weeks ago just so I could get myself in the mindset for the new season that's coming out. And it's everything I wanted it to be and more. So for all you Scrub fans out there, I know this is completely off field, but go and watch Scrubs season 10. It is fucking perfect if you're a fan of the old series.
Lisa reckons I'm like Dr. Cox.
Yeah, I can see it.
I can't. She reckons I'm either Dr. Cox or the janitor, and it depends on what mood I'm in as to which one of those two I am.
I don't know. You have moments of Ted in you as well, to be honest.
I do. I also have moments of Kelso in me. I just don't see them very often. What were your thoughts on the corpse that runs down the corridor and grabs hold of his girlfriend and starts choking her in the lift? And he goes, "I can't get him off," and gets out of the lift, runs like 3 miles down the corridor to get an axe, to come back, to duck under his arm, to get back in the lift, to chop his hand off.
Yeah, he doesn't do a very good job there, I'll be honest with you. Dan kind of let himself down. Before I touch on that, I do want to say as well, one of the other highlights for me about this was the Dean, her dad, Helen's dad, and his whole coming to, showing that there is still a little bit of humanity in there somewhere within these Re-Animators. That really amplifies the whole movie for me in a way, because you see Dr. Hill and he slowly over time starts to come back to himself. And then when the Dean does it in this instance and he recognizes Helen's voice and decides to save her and push all the rest of them off, it always sets my mind wondering that the longer they're left with this serum inside them, is it like a Benjamin Button kind of situation where the longer they're alive under this serum, the more they regain of their previous humanity? I know I always make these movies better by theorizing things like this, but this is one of those particular instances in the closing act where I was like, yeah, man, that's fucking awesome. But yes, anyway, back to where we were. Yeah, Dan's a letdown. I don't understand why he struggled so much. This is one scene in particular where I picked up on how bad the acting was from the extras, because he's barely touching Barbara Crampton's neck. You can see gaps where he's like holding himself off from her neck so he doesn't injure her in any way. And I'm like, damn, he doesn't look like he's got a good enough grasp. Just pull him off.
No, but no, don't pull him off. That's
no.
That's next week's movie.
However, I'm sure there is a parody of this movie somewhere where you can watch that happen.
I'm pretty sure there is. She dies.
Yep.
She dies.
I didn't see that coming. I didn't expect it.
I didn't see that coming, but we do get the full circle moment when then she's in the ER and Dan doesn't try anywhere near as hard to save her as he did the random woman at the beginning of the movie. He shocks her once and like chest compresses like 3 times. If that was your girlfriend or your wife and you're engaged, you want to be with that person forever, you're giving that at least half an hour worth of work.
Again, you say that though, but it's very much important to what is said to him at the beginning by the other doctor when he's overly doing it at the beginning, and he's like, a good doctor always knows when to stop.
Yeah, but a good doctor also knows, like, if it's your loved one, you probably go a little bit longer than you should just on the off chance.
Fuck that. He's thinking, yes, man, bachelor pad, let's do this shit.
Me and Herbert, we've got this nailed. The final shot of this movie is fucking amazing, because after she's died, he has this moment where he's like, oh, I'm really sad. Oh, hang on a minute. I've got that. Where's that green shit that Herbert
Where's
West
that suitcase that he told me to take?
Yeah. And he injects her as he's injecting her. where it all fades to black apart from the green syringe, and you just see the liquid.
Yeah, that's
That
really
shot
cool.
is fucking awesome.
And I really like that. And also, I really appreciated the opening credits to this movie where it's the animation stuff. It reminded me very much of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids with the
Yeah.
opening credit sequence to that, where it's all cartoon animation. It was really cool. And it has that sort of do, 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 do kind of music to it. It was brilliant.
Did you notice they got the Psycho music in this as well? Numerous times, like in the lift where
didn't.
he's hacking with the axe, it's going wee, 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 wee.
No,
I was like,
no, I didn't. I'm going to have to go back and check that now.
like it blew my mind. I was like, it is the Psycho music, and they do it earlier as well when the big dude is attacking them in the morgue. They play it there, but it goes from the Psycho music back to that like plinky plonky do 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 do
Yeah.
music. This film's great. I really like this. If you haven't seen Re-Animate, go and watch it. That's where I am with this.
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
Are we on keeping our scores as they are? I think mine's still a 4.
No, I'm going to up mine, to be honest with you. A lot of the issues that I mentioned earlier on was due to stagnation of re-repeats. But talking about it tonight, this evening, has really highlighted to me how impactful this movie is on the community and why it should be so greatly appreciated. I'm not going to go all out and give it a full top marks, but I am going to up my score from a 4 to a 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I'm keeping mine the same because, again, like my opinion's not changed. It's a fun movie, but it's not perfect.
Yeah, you see, just some of the gripes that I had earlier on were very personal to me on rewatches, but then as we've spoke about particular scenes, I'm like, actually, yeah, I'm maybe giving that a little bit harsher critique than it deserves to be. So I think, yeah, I'm gonna up it to a 4.5 out of 5.
Okay, that's good. We have no voicemails this week. I don't know why, but we do have comments on Spotify, which we've not done for a while. Lady C, this was on the back of Return to Silent Hill. Very cool interview. I had high hopes of this movie, but now I'm not so sure. I still need to check it out. Chaz, this is on, this is on the back of our blazing row on 28 Years Later. This is the heated rivalry of horror podcast episodes. I'm here for it.
I hope that never happens again, man. I had real severe anxiety about that for quite some period of time. I don't like falling out with you on that level, dude. It's not nice for anybody.
No, but we sorted it out straight away. Also on that episode, Michael Bull. I love this movie. I think it perfectly captures the future where the UK has been cut off and left to fend for itself. I found the end very haunting. The Bone Temple is fantastic follow-up, which shows just how savage this world has made people. I won't spoil it, but I will say both Ralph Fiennes and Jack O'Connell are outstanding in it. And yeah, I've seen Bone Temple. I agree. It also fixed some of the issues I had with 28 Years Later, but I don't want to spoil it because Mark hasn't seen it yet.
Nope. I'm hoping to rectify that this weekend.
Don't forget, you can send us a voicemail. It's very, very easy to do. You don't need to call anywhere. Just open Instagram or X, go to where you send a DM, record an audio DM. It's where the microphone is. Push it and speak, then push it again. We'll get that message. We'll be able to play it on the air. You'll be able to hear yourself. Or alternatively, record a TikTok, tag us, and we'll put that on the show as well. 3-word review. Everyone got involved this week. Like every social media platform. TikTok, Airhead Mel, world's worst roommate. I don't know if he's the world's worst roommate.
I don't know. He's probably up there.
Yeah, I think he's up there. Bite 19, batshit crazy. Over on Slasher, LA Frankenstein, headless head.
I knew someone would go there.
And they also went with, they give us another one, green juice bad.
Yeah, green juice, very, very bad.
Yeah, this green screen is bad. We're never having a green background again.
No, honestly, I've had to proper dial down the brightness of my monitor tonight. Look at watch the background behind me. Look at that shit, dude. I feel like I'm handling plutonium.
Let's talk horror channel, BP, cat wall splat. The Jigsaw Killer, the absolute cinema. Fans of the Dead, here's your meatball. And then Skelly come up with gave her head, to which Fans of the Dead replied with a head.
2 for 1 there, guys.
It was. You buy one, you get one free. You could do 3-word review on any of our socials. They go out every single week. Just literally go to our page. You will find one within a couple of days of whenever you log on. We do games on this show. I've been working really hard to make the games relevant to the movie that we are covering. And I had a brainstorm moment this week where I was like, oh, yes, let's do that. So I have taken the premise of Would You Rather, and instead of Would You Rather do X, Y, or Z, it's now Would You Rather reanimate this or reanimate that?
Okay, yeah, this could be interesting.
So I'm going to give you some, and you just tell me which one you'd rather. So would you reanimate a used, discarded dildo that now has a personality and a desire to dick you down, or a 1970s shag pile carpet that has developed a need to rub itself on your wife at every opportunity?
I feel like I'm going to pick the selfish option here and throw my wife under the bus, because how could you sleep at night knowing that there is some possessed dildo constantly on the move for you?
Just poking its head around corners like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whenever
like
you
every
get in the
time it does
shower.
it, just Marvin Gaye just starts playing when it comes into view.
It's like the cat in this movie on your back all the time. Would you rather reanimate a headless muscular torso to be your personal bodyguard, or Dr. Hill's severed head to be your relationship coach?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the bodyguard option on this. I don't think anybody should be taking relationship advice from Dr. Hill.
No one should be taking any advice from Dr. Hill.
Yeah, any advice whatsoever.
Would you rather reanimate a legendary 70s adult film star who refuses to put clothes on, or a Victorian ghost who constantly behaves horrified at your modern day bedroom habits?
I don't feel like you're quite understanding the concept of this game, because there is a very clear, definitive answer to every single question you've asked so far. I'm going for the 70s porn star who wants to be naked all the time, all day long. And if you want specifics, I'm going for Kay Parker.
Okay, fair enough. Right, this one I think might make it a little bit harder for you. Would you rather reanimate the 1975 Playboy mansion, smells, stains, and all in your basement, or reanimate Hugh Hefner to follow you around and give you money whenever you need it?
Hugh Hefner. What a sidekick, by the way.
What Hefner?
What an absolute wingman to have.
Would you rather have a jar containing reanimated piece of Rasputin that whenever you go near it goes la 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 la?
I can't listen to that song since doing the Poltergeist episode. So whatever the answer is for B, I'm going with it.
Or a reanimated Napoleon Bonaparte who's 10 inches tall and very aggressive?
Yeah, I'm going with the aggressive midget. I don't think I could listen to Ra Ra Rasputin ever again in my life.
We've got a couple more. Would you rather reanimate a glitched clone of yourself that is 10% more attractive than you, but 100% more evil, or a clone of you that is hideous, but refuses to do anything around the house apart from fart?
I mean, how evil is evil me?
Well, it's 100% more evil than you are currently.
Oh, so it's not that evil.
It's as evil as I am. That's
yeah. Oh, so it's like having your personality in a slightly better looking version of me.
Yeah.
No, I couldn't live with that. I couldn't live with that. I'd have the farty fucking hunchback, I think.
Fair enough. Would you rather reanimate an additional mouth in the palm of your hand that insults people with the most horrific things it can possibly say? Think the latest BAFTA outbreak. That's what your hand will do.
Yeah.
Or would you reanimate your skin so it changes color, but only with your levels of arousal?
No, I'm going with the Tourette's hand. I feel like it's excusable as well. Like, I'm sorry, it's got a mind of its own. But then at the same time, it would be linked to my brain, so I could use it as an excuse to say shit that I wouldn't usually say to people. And I'd be like, "Oh, I'm really, really sorry. I don't know why you did that."
Right, last two. Would you rather reanimate your own spent biological fluids into a sentient puddle that follows you round and talks to you, or reanimate all of your past used condoms and they now have the personality of the person you put them in?
Oh, fucking hell. No, that would no.
Just bear in mind, it's all of,
dude. I'll be honest with you.
all of your spent
no.
fluid. Like every time you've done it, you get a new puddle pet that talks to you.
I would be drowned within a week, I feel, if that thing came to life. But at the same time, there's been some things in my past that I never want to experience again. That's like that's like Sophie's choice, is that I'll be honest with you. I'm really, really torn between drowning in my own muck or experiencing past relations of she devils
in the form of a condom.
In the form of a condom. I suppose drowning makes it over quickly. I'll choose death.
Okay. The last one, you probably want death to be an option on this one as well. However, it's not. Would you rather reanimate Jeffrey Epstein to host your next dinner party, or reanimate 100-foot tall, naked, very angry Harvey Weinstein to rampage through your town?
I mean, I've heard Epstein throws a good bash.
Oh, dude.
What?
In case you haven't noticed, I'm weird. I'm a weirdo. I don't fit in, and I don't want to fit in. Have you ever seen me without this stupid hat on? That's weird.
I mean, nobody needs a Godzilla-sized Harvey Weinstein, but at the same time, I feel like if I brought Epstein back just for a confined party that only I had to endure and a few select group of people, it's one for the books, isn't it? So I'm bringing Epstein back, guys. Let's do this.
You're going to bring him back. Party guests will include Donald Trump, Bill Gates, Elon Musk.
I tell you what, that would be a fucking story and a half to tell.
It would, but yeah, neither of those need to come back. Anyway, it is time for Mark's favourite part of the episode and mine, and I'm stalling because I can't find his music anywhere. There it is, and here we go.
He's the king of the spool, the lord of the stack. If it's on magnetic tape, there's no turning back. From the floor to the ceiling, he's a mastermind hoarder, keeping analog alive on the edge of the border. Rewind, to the static flip. It's Mark, VHS from the crypt.
So this week, no surprise, I do own this movie, and that is my fabulous copy of Re-Animator. I love this movie. This is a really good condition copy that I managed to get as well. It's still got its original rental stickers on. Someone who I got this off tried to peel it off the side and just fuck the badge side on there. But other than that, it's a history tape, and I love it. And this was one of the first tapes that I'm not going to say it's the first tape I got, because when I first started collecting VHS tape, it was due to Gareth from Video Tasties. He sent me a small bundle of retail tapes,
Yeah.
which then sent me on down a rabbit hole. And I struck gold, which is something that people haven't heard of. I saw a guy probably about 50 miles away from where I live on Gumtree who was selling boxes and boxes of VHS tapes and a couple of players to go with it. And he wanted like 50 quid. And I went and I saw the advert pop up because I'd started scrolling to pick up a few additional bits to go with the collection that Gareth had sent me. And I was like, oh, dude, I'll come. I was like, I'm not bothered what's in the box. I'll go through them. And then whatever's crap, I'll just disperse of. It's like, yeah, sound, man. Come and get them. Got them. Didn't look in them when I got there. Brought them all home. And I opened it up. And it was like the unheard of grail. I had all the Freddy tapes in there.
Wow.
I had honestly, like, I think if you scroll down far enough through my VHS account on Instagram, the post will be there. And there was stacks and stacks and stacks. And that was where I discovered what X-Rental tapes were. Because at that point, other than seeing them in Blockbuster as a kid, you don't really know the difference between the two when you get to an adult and you start collecting these kind of things. And I was like, oh, shit, yeah. X-Rentals, big boxes, rah, rah, rah. That's when I went on the journey of discovery of knowing which one to pick and which one to buy. And this tape was part of that original pickup, which is why it's so cherished in my collection. But I love this movie. It's got fantastic playback as well. I can't show you the tape because I've been show prepping and it's not in here. But it's a cool movie. It's a prized possession for me. I do have the rest of the collection. I have Bride of Re-Animator and I think Beyond Re-Animator. Beyond Re-Animator is a third one. I haven't seen anything past this original. I do really need to get around to it. And nothing has enticed me more to do so than this episode for the show, because the cliffhanger to this movie was something that I hadn't paid much attention to growing up, and then watching it this time around really makes me want to push forward with it, especially because once we started diving into a bit of research about what this movie is and all the rest of it, I kind of IMDb'd the sequel a little bit and found that everybody returns barring Crampton, except her heart, because they use her heart to create this Bride of Frankenstein style thing. I'm really curious to know where it goes. So yeah, that's this week's VHS hunt, and this is Re-Animator.
That's great VHS, and again, another one that I need for my collection. I don't own it on DVD or VHS. Well, that brings this episode to a close. Make sure you follow us everywhere. Tell a friend. Tell an enemy. I don't care. Tell someone so they listen to the show. Leave us a comment wherever you find us and a review wherever you find us as well. We are back next week. You guys keep making there be ties in the polls. And when there's a tie, it's a wild card pick. And next week is my wild card pick, which means it is decidedly rubbish. Slumber Party Massacre 2.
Dude, what have you done to us?
Literally, I put on my story, see, they tied like just before the final. I even put up a story of me smiling, going, what have you all done? Like, it's my wild. I never get a wild card pick, and you've given me a wild card pick. Here it is. And then it won by a landslide.
I don't like where this is going next week. I'm going to be honest with you.
It's going to be fun. But until then, have a wonderful week, and we will see you next Tuesday.
Cheers, guys. See you next week.
You want to die tonight?
You're on podcast. You're on podcast. Late at night, I tune into your show where you talk horror with a unique flow. Your voice is like sirens, draws me in as you pick apart movies on murder and sin. Scott and Mark set the scene. I hang on every word, lost in the screen. Your passion for fear is contagious enough. You make me believe in Mark's fucking long round ups. You're on podcast, horror movie review, sharing facts and playing games too. Your words paint pictures of darkness and dread, leaving me grinning long after you fled. You're on podcast.
Oh, you gotta give them that hot tour and spit on that thing.